I like this one, and I mean, this is very clearly what you do. Be precise in your speech.
So God makes the world by speaking. Okay, so that's the first thing to think about. You're supposed to think like in a sophisticated way about this. The idea is that there's some integral relationship between communication and the structure of being. It's part of the role that consciousness plays in the world, whatever that role is. Language takes the chaos and makes it into things. And so God has Adam name all the animals. They're not even really real until they have names. Now, they're more implicit. That's another, here's an example. Let's say that you're having a rough patch in your relationship and you don't know why. It's unnameable. Is it real? Well, yeah, it's manifesting itself in like a physiological discomfort. Then you talk about it and you name it. It's like, it goes from this blurry thing that's kind of potential, it goes snap, and then it's this thing, right? And then that's a horrible thing. It's like a little poisonous thing, but it's not a whole foggy cloud of potential poison. It's like this little sharp poison thing. And then you think, okay, it's real. It's a little monster, but it's not, it's little at least, and now probably we can do something about it if we can admit to it. So it's this precision that specifies. And so it's almost always better, it might be better without exception, to name the thing, no matter how terrible it is. And if you can't name it, what that means is that you're telling yourself that you're so terrified that you can't bring your attention to bear on it. And that makes you're the loser.
Well, I have to disagree with Jordan Peterson, this last comment that you're the loser, when you fail to be precise in finding out precisely what it is that's bothering you, because there's another approach. I do agree for the value of being precise in your speech and trying to nail it on the head and discussing with people and going back and forth. And I mean, that's what intelligent discourse is all about. But the thing that he describes where there's something manifesting itself in a physiological discomfort, that's on a personal level. And there's another approach instead of being precise, because that can take years to identify exactly what's bothering you and exactly how to deal with it. That can take years in any situation, a long time anyways. It's a big effort. So if you can do it, fine. But most of the time, it's not so easily done. And so the other approach is to just adjust, to leave it alone, live with it. It's not a big deal. You don't have to be discomforted by someone else's habits or attitudes or something. Just adjust. There's a famous Jewish teaching between the houses of Shammai and Hill. I've mentioned them before, and he had a number of disagreements how to deal with this situation or that situation. So take, for example, in the area of kosher, which is things that are permitted to eat and things that are not permitted to eat, which we have a lot of rules governing. So they had major disagreements, which meant that one school would permit certain activities and the food's good, but the other school felt that those activities were prohibited and would not eat the food, but not only the food, but also the utensils in which the food was prepared, because they now became not kosher. Not only the food itself, but also the utensils. And teaching that records their relationship says that they used to lend each other utensils. May not be a habit today, but those days, you need a big pot or something like that. Maybe it happens today still, but there was much more borrowing and lending going on of this kind. So they said they lent each other. So how could you lend it? According to you, it's prohibited. So what are you borrowing it for? And the answer given is no, because each school, realizing that the other camp disagreed with them and felt that what this food was prohibited, so they would keep track of which of their utensils had been used for what the other camp would consider prohibited food, and therefore when they came to borrow utensils would say, yes, I have a utensil I can lend you, and it hasn't been used for what you think is prohibited. They would keep track, even though, as far as they were concerned, that the utensil was fine. But because they had such care and concern for the other party, that they would keep track of their utensils that were no good according to the other party, and so that you can rely on me when I give you a utensil, it's good even according to you. that's a tremendous level of cooperation and care and concern for the other party, even though you violently disagree with them. You know, as far as you're concerned, they're completely off base. But you respect their right to their opinion, and you respect their right to their own judgment and to follow it, and you want to still be friendly with them, so you keep track of these disputes. You live with it. You adjust. You don't have to defeat the other guy. And things that give you discomfort that Jordan Peterson describes, maybe the better approach, the better solution is to just put it out of mind, learn to adjust. It's not a big deal. You can live with it. But as far as being precise in your speech, that is something you want to practice by engaging. Don't be afraid to engage in discussions surrounding that issue as to why do you feel that it's no good, and here's why I feel it is good, and understanding the rules, see if you can convince the other party with respect. There's a lot that'll be gained from that discourse.